I got it open. Good heavens, man. Great Scott, we've discovered the fountain of all knowledge of Egypt in the entire world. Do you realize the importance of this moment, Smedley?
Yes, I do.
Do you see the brilliance, the untold years?
I see it, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Slay. Look! What is this? This can't be. What? You know what this is? What is it, Buddha? It's the Book of Life. In the beginning, when man arrived on Earth, the black gods believed the spacecraft, and they walked, and they named the beast of the sea, and the animals of the land, and man in his blackness did want medicine. They discovered time. These were all black people got down. Wait a minute. This ain't nothing here about white. This is ours, Jack. Wait till the brothers hear this. Buddha. Oh, get this book out of here, baby. This tells the real tea. Check this out. Self-control yourself. What you mean, Jack? Look at this here. Black people started the music and the brain surgery back in the year 3 BC. Yes, Buddha. Man, they was getting down. This is it, brother. Everybody gonna know about this. This one, we can change the history. Civilization, change. Yeah, this is gonna be it. Get the bulldozers. Get the bulldozers. There's nothing here. Shut up.
5,000 years ago, this homeland had already become the scene of a civilization in many ways unmatched anywhere else in the ancient world. Where we have to begin, in the Egypt of the pharaohs, in the African land that was the gift of the god of the Nile. Egypt of the pharaohs was the greatest and the oldest and the most inventive of all the high civilizations of antiquity. And it flourished for 3,000 years. It set a pattern and example for people near and far. But where were its roots, its origins, its starting point? Most of us have believed or have been taught that the glories of the pharaohs could never have been created by African people or African ideas because, it's been said, Africans could never have built a high civilization. Here reigned, for dynasty after dynasty, the kings who wore the double crown, the combined crown of Upper Egypt and of the Delta. But what had they to do with Africa? How could this grand hierarchy of gods and spirits have anything in common with the superstitious mumblings of the black peoples of inner Africa? Imagine that most visitors conclude as they listen to their guides that a statue such as this of the young king Tutankhamun may have turned very black in the course of centuries, but could not have been a black man in the first place. It's a view which is now increasingly under challenge, not least from African historians and archaeologists. One of the more outspoken of these is Professor Cheikh Anta Diop of Senegal, who has made a special study of the origins of the people of ancient Egypt.
Contemporain des Égyptiens, même des philosophes du XIXe siècle. Voici, dans le tombeau de Ramsès III, au XIIe siècle avant Jésus-Christ, les 4 races connues des Égyptiens représentées sur le même plan. Ici, vous avez l'Égyptien, le type générique de la race, en noir, charbon, si je puis dire, avec toutes ses particularités ethniques. Et sur le même tableau, vous avez le type indo-européen, représenté également, avec toutes ses différences par rapport au type égyptien, du point de vue de la couleur de la peau et du point de vue du vêtement. Et ici, vous avez les autres Africains qui habitaient à l'époque l'intérieur du continent, représentés de la même façon que les Égyptiens.
That particular painting, however, is a rare exception, the only one, as far as I know, that so clearly makes the professor's point. For the most part, the ancient Egyptians had themselves portrayed as reddish pink, but of course they intermarried with Asians, and even more with other Africans. Many of their noble ladies were Nubians, and lovingly portrayed as such. This painting comes from the tomb of Hemakat, clearly a black lady, with a handmaiden behind her, just as surely white. It followed that the royal children were often black as well, as was King Senusret, seen here wearing the white crown of Upper Egypt. This pharaoh, of unknown name, but obviously of high prestige in his time, and just as clearly African. Even mighty temples like this one have to be seen against the background origins of ancient Egyptian civilization. And those origins, in the light of modern science, were above all African. Egypt's beginnings were in the south, in this inner Africa, which the ancient Egyptians called the land of the gods, of the African gods whom they revered as their guardian spirits. And here is the most famous of those mighty kings of the south, recognized by the peoples of that time, the 7th century BC, as among the masters of the world. This one, as it happens, received a favorable mention in the Bible, in the Book of Kings, as the emperor of Kush and in all Egypt, whose name was Taharqa. By 650 BC, the Nubian kings who had subdued Egypt were ready to withdraw to the south, to Napata, and then to a new capital in their kingdom of Kush. At Meru, under an African sky, young girls dance as much for their own pleasure as for the spectators, breathing life into these astonishingly similar images of Nubian dancing girls, performing for the pharaohs 5,000 years ago. Famed for their grace and beauty, they had an honored place in the life of ancient Egypt. That the one should still be regarded as primitive and the other as part of the world's cultural heritage reflects on the ignorance and prejudice of the modern world, and not at all on them.
Jaja Beni Kabara. 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 Jaja Beni Kabara.
Brafo Brahma Kabara i baradlayi. Brafo Brahma Kabara i barafiri fane. Ni Brafo Brahma Tilala Kabara Lala. Brafo Brahma Baka Barado Firi. Goni Brafo Brahma Tilala Kabara Lala. Brafo Brahma Baka Brabla Wufache. Brafo Brahma Yaka 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 Brabla Wufache.
The children crying in the wilderness. That's right, Georgia. The children crying in the wilderness. Send us a prophet to warn the nation, all the children and this creation, all the people that you see will be the children of the Most High. Jaja, all of that you see will be the children of the Most High. All of that you see will be the children of the Most High. Just